Hey, Long Island grandmas and grandpas, I got a question for you. What would it take for you to be able to turn back the hands of time by 20 years? Turn it back so that you can get out of bed without feeling backache and that stiffness. Go up the stairs so it doesn't hurt when you get to the top and your knees don't scream at you. To be able to walk as confidently as you did when you were 50, 40, 30 years old. Hi, my name is Dr. Daniel Davids. I'm a physical therapist and I run The Traveling Physical Therapist. We provide in-home Medicare-covered physical therapy throughout Long Island to seniors just like yourself. I wanted to ask you, what would it take for you to be able to turn back the hands of time? And it's actually a lot easier than you think, but every journey starts with the first step. And that first step is something I called your why, W-H-Y, why. What is your why? It's a very simple question. It's not so simple to answer. I want to give you a little bit about myself, and I think that'll help you once you get an idea of what that means. So you may have met a physical therapist or you've had physical therapy before, but I don't know, maybe you did not ask them, why are you a physical therapist or why are you doing this particular care? So I want to break that down for you really quickly. So I don't know if you know Adele. Adele is my grandmother. She lived in Bayside, not too far from Bell and 73rd, if you know the area in Queens. Now, in Bayside, she worked as a waitress. And I mean, she worked there for as long as I knew her. And every day she actually walked to work. It was about a block and a half, so it wasn't a crazy amount, but she would walk to work, which I thought was amazing. And she worked there for a very long time. One winter, she was leaving work and she took a step on some uneven cement. There might have been ice, I'm not 100% sure, but she took a step on some uneven cement and she took a fall and she broke her hip. Now, I asked, do you know Adele? Most people say, I don't know who your grandmother is, but everyone seems to know someone who fell and broke their hip. It might have been you. So Adele fell and she broke her hip. And it was a pretty tragic thing. She broke her hip, she went to the ER, they did surgery, they gave her a hip replacement, and you know what? She did wonderfully. She went to a rehab center and she got, after her hip replacement, they gave her PT and they gave her rehab and she was doing very well. They discharged her early, in fact. And then when she went home, she had care at home too, which is excellent. So her care at home, now she has Medicare, and this is all covered by Medicare, which was excellent, right? So she had care at home for about 2 weeks. PT would come to the house and they would give her all the training that she needed. After those 2 weeks, they said, you're all finished, go to the clinic down the block and continue your care. Well, she just had a fall not that long ago. She wasn't really feeling comfortable enough to just leave the house. She had about 9 steps to leave the house. Even though she lived on the first floor of this particular co-op, she had 9 steps to leave the house. And even then, she didn't drive. She would have to take a car service to the PT clinic just about 3 blocks away. So she didn't do it. She may do it home without. She would walk holding onto furniture. They call that furniture surfing. Hold onto the walls. She actually did very well. She made do with what she had and she did very well. Until she didn't. One day, she put her hand on a metal foldable TV tray, and she didn't put a lot of weight into it, but she put enough that it fell, and she broke her other hip. Back to the ER. This time, not a hip replacement, but they did a fixation. They helped her out. They sent her to rehab. Unfortunately, this time, she never left the rehab. It was a very tragic story. It happened in 2007, December of 2007, she passed away. And I met my wife in 2008, January of 2008. So just about a month later, I met the woman who eventually became my wife. And it was a tragic thing that I never got a chance to introduce them to each other. I know they would have loved each other. And of course, my children would have adored their great-grandmother. And it's a very hard thing. And my story is not unique. A lot of people have dealt with this. Family members, neighbors, friends, etc. have seen someone who had a fall and didn't get the proper care because they didn't want to go to a clinic, or they went to a clinic and they were ignored for a long time, meaning they had to go sit down in a waiting room for 15 minutes. Then they sat on a hot pack for 10 minutes, and then they went on a bicycle for 10 minutes. And all this time that's being wasted, and just to get a therapist who's juggling 3 other patients at the same time. My why was to not do that. I became a physical therapist so I can help people not fall into that same trap. I wanted to help people one-on-one in the place where falls occur the most often, at home. And so that's what I did. I started The Traveling Physical Therapist in 2015, And now I've just celebrated 6 years doing this. And I got to tell you, we have grown. We have occupational therapists and physical therapists. And my why has been my guiding light. It's been my North Star telling me exactly where to go. So what's your North Star? What's your why? Well, I started an exercise not an exercise, but an actual exercise, a thinking exercise about how I can come up with my why. And the reason I bring this up to you is because every journey starts with the first step, and this should be your first step. Whatever it is you want to do, however you want to heal, whatever you want to, if you want your knees to feel better, your hips to feel better, if it has nothing to do with physical therapy at all, and you just want to feel better, this is your first step. I took down some notes here. I'm going to read them to you. I'm going to tell you this. I really think you should write down these questions. I'm not going to send you anything. I'm not going to tell you got to sign up for anything. Write down these questions and answer them. If you can go through this and answer these, I'll go slowly. I know I talk very quickly. I'll go slowly and answer these questions. And when you do, I think you'll have a good idea of what you need to take for your next step. So the first question is, what activity are you not able to do as well as you used to? So this is obviously very PT based. So I'm very interested in people doing activities better, like walking, for example. So what's something that you weren't able to do as well, or rather you're not able to do as well as you used to? Okay, write down that answer. The next question, why is that activity so important to you? You want to walk? Great, everyone wants to walk. Why is it so important? What is it that you want to walk to that's important? Because I got to be honest with you, you can make do not walking. You can walk you can use a wheelchair, or you could just be driven around. You don't have to do much walking in life, but you want to. Why? So answer that question. Why is it so important to you? Why do you need to get better? So now we're diving a little more specifically. Why do you need to get better? If you told me I want to be able to walk, great, everyone wants to walk. Why do you want to walk? I want to walk because I want to walk my granddaughter down the aisle. Whoa, that is deep, that's heavy, that's beautiful, that's a great reason. Maybe you just want to hang out. I just want to walk so I can be with my family and not be left behind. I want to walk so that I can go to the store and feel independent again. Whatever your reason is, write that down. And it only helps. This is just like if you're on a diet. If you don't track your foods, you're not losing weight. You got to write this down. How would you feel if you couldn't do those activities ever again? If I said to you, oh, you want to be able to walk, and you want to be able to walk your granddaughter down the aisle, and you want to be able to go food shopping and be independent, what happens if I took that away? How would that make you feel? I ask these questions because adding an emotional component to anything you do makes you buy into it so much more. Why do you need to do these things? Well, whatever the reason is, you need to know. Okay. How would you live your life differently if all of a sudden I snap my fingers and you could do everything again? If all of a sudden you can walk as well as you did 30 years ago, how would your life be different? What would you do differently? Of course, you'd walk more. Great. You'd be happier. Great. What activities would you start doing? I'd play pickleball with my friends. I would go to the social club more often. I would go food shopping every day. Whatever it is. And then here's the hypothetical. This is the bonus points. What are you willing to give up to get what you want? Everything has a trade-off, right? You're either going to be trading in your time. You're going to be putting time towards doing something. You're going to be trading in money. You're going to have to pay for something to get better, or you're going to have to be trading in your comfort. And that's the big one. People don't mind spending money. I'm covered by Medicare. No one spends money for me, which is good. But you do have to dedicate time. But more importantly, you have to dedicate your comfort. You have to say, I know I'm comfortable watching the Wheel of Fortune every night, but if I want to get better, I have to get out of my comfort zone. And that's hard for a lot of people. So there it is. That's your why. If you can answer those questions, put that together in a way where you can start coming up with something, that is your first step to getting better. All right, this is where I'm going to say goodbye. I have more to show you guys, but I'm going to keep this one a little short. We're already at 10 minutes. So I will hopefully speak to you guys very soon. Take care. And again, if you have any questions, you can always reach us at The Traveling Physical Therapist. www.thetravelingpt.com, or just give us a call, 646-733-4737. 646-733-4737. Have a great day. Hey, do you want to prevent your next fall? Do you want to maximize your quality of life? Do you want to move as confidently and pain-free as you did 25 years ago? Of course you do. Who wouldn't? We are the Traveling Physical Therapists, and we provide Medicare-covered physical and occupational therapy in your community, and for most, it will cost you exactly $0 out of pocket. We want you to come check us out so you can get back to doing the things that are important, like going to the park with your grandchildren, or hanging out with your girlfriends, or just enjoying a happy and healthy life just like you used to. So come visit us at www.thetravelingpt.com. And when you do, we're going to send you a free gift, our very popular book, That Really Helpful Book on Fall Prevention. All you have to do is go to our page, click on Contact Us, and drop me a note, and I will personally make sure that this book ends up in your hands at absolutely no cost. www.thetravelingpt.com for a Medicare-covered boost of confidence, quality of life, delivered right in your living room.